Hey, we're live. I think. Oh, look, it drops to 3. Really? Hello, everybody. Hi, Jim. How you doing? We are live. I think it's almost 8 o'clock. Looks like it's getting close to that.
Hi, Noah. Hi, Aaron.
Hey, Melody.
Hi, Melody. Long time no see.
Yeah. We are live. Hopefully, everybody can hear us. Let us know if we're okay. We never know because we can't hear ourselves. If we do, you get this horrible echo, and that would not be good at all. So we are in Kansas at the TA. Thanks, Noah. At Beto Junction, which we don't know what it's called. Beto Junction.
It's spelled B-E-T-O, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think
Beto.
Beto.
I don't know. We're here probably for the weekend. We do not have a load for Monday. Yay.
And for those of you who know where Beto Junction is, isn't this an awesome place to spend the weekend?
Yeah, it is really cool.
Hi, Kim.
They have really good showers. Yeah. Wherever the wind blows us. Yes. Yeah, the wind was blowing the other night a little bit.
Yeah.
So,
a lot, actually.
so I think it's officially 8 o'clock now, so I guess we'll get started with whatever getting started means. We're here. Been a sort of it was a slow week and it was a busy week for us. We only did 2 loads, but one of them was a 1,596 cross-country road or trip, sort
Not
of.
totally cross country. We're kind of
halfway.
In the middle of the country.
We went from Connecticut to Kansas, and so we unloaded in Kansas yesterday morning, and basically we had tried to get some loads, but we didn't get the loads. Somebody else got them. They were not awarded.
Not awarded.
And we're sort of, I don't know, I feel like we're back being rookies. It's sad because everything is just so off.
I have to ask Melody. Melody, do you guys feel like rookies again? You know, you guys have been out here longer than we have.
Yeah, it's just like all of a sudden I don't know what to do. You know, I honestly...
Do we stay? Do we go? Do we come?
You know, we saw loads. We didn't really see too good of loads. You know, I don't know.
Where would you deadhead out of Kansas?
Well, I mean...
That's a good question.
St. Louis. We could probably go back to St. Louis. I don't really want to because as soon as we get to St. Louis, there'll be a load that comes out of Kansas City.
Yeah.
And because it's sort of what we're waiting on. We thought there might be a load or 2 out of here, and nothing showed up. There were, I think, 4 decent loads that we tried to get from earlier in the week that would have picked up Monday, but we didn't get those either. So I don't know.
Actually, I think when I talked to one of the dispatchers yesterday, I was trying to just kind of feel them out and say, you know, we used to be able to feel them out. We used to be able to call and ask questions and say, oh, you know, I know loads haven't hit the board yet. What's planning saying? You know, have there been any calls or, you know, in that area? And I was talking to dispatcher yesterday, and he was like, well, you know, you could always, you know, just go ahead and go up to Chicago.
That's only like 500 and some miles. We'll just do that on
our own dime.
Of course, fuel right now is pretty cheap, so I mean, it really could probably go up there for $100. But I don't know. And the freight that is out there, just I don't know. It's weird times.
Melody, no clue. Come on. You're supposed to know everything.
Honestly, you could have picked a better time to get started than this. Really.
But you know what? And as a learning experience, they'll be along with the rest of us during all this anyway.
Yeah, no one knows all about those loads in Chicago canceling.
Hi, Greta.
Greta is Judy's cousin.
Yay.
Yeah. So I don't know. Yeah, I think this could be. I mean, it's a weird, bizarre time for everybody. You know, in theory, I have thought that we would probably be busy, and maybe some folks are. Right now, we're not. So I don't know. I mean, it depends on what you're doing. I mean, our carrier is definitely set up to handle the kind of loads that we think are going to be, you know, running.
Yeah, I think it's timing right now. I mean, it's all your guess is as good as mine as to where things need to go and when they need to go, and how we're talking about we're headed east, but a lot of things are going into the east but not coming out.
Right.
You know, and it's just, and some places are closed, some places are open, and all that kind of stuff.
That's just for anybody that, sunny.
Sunny in California. Hey, you know what? Here in Kansas, it was up to 55 today.
I know. Yeah. Yes, it was. We actually went for a walk. Decided to get out of the truck, take a little bit of a walk. I have to lean up because I'm old and I can't see. Do you think that once the lockdowns are over, all heck will break loose? That is my thought. I don't know. I really don't know.
Yeah, we thought with the lockdowns we might be even busier just because the things need to be moving. Normal freight needs to be moving as far as what we normally haul, but then due to what is going on in the world, that we have probably more added freight, I would think, but maybe not. Maybe someone else is out there doing it all. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I know there's freight moving. You see all kinds of trucks on the road, but I'm just not. I don't know. We'll see. High today. Yep. Mowed.
You mowed. Let's not talk about mowing, Greta.
Don't say that.
That means at home ours is probably going to need to be done pretty soon.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's a weird time. Hopefully everything will eventually get back to normal. I don't really foresee that anytime in the near future. Again, pessimist, optimist, pessimist.
Yeah.
Is
it Vita or Vita? I say
Vita.
Vita or Vita. I don't know. But it says, does the virus affect the amount of freight available to you? And we actually thought it might help. It might make us busier. I don't want to say the virus is going to help our business because that just sounds so wrong.
Not at all. We should be busy. Just our carrier and Noah. You're right. Expedite companies like Bolt and Load One, the ones that do the auto parts. I mean, they're shut down right now. The manufacturing facilities. I'm assuming there's probably a few parts moving, but they're really going to be hurting. They don't. I don't think. I mean, that's basically what they do, and with Custom Critical, we do various different things. I think the amount of freight that gets moved with this virus is going to pick up, but I think it right now, and I think the big trucks are staying busy, but a lot of the stuff needs to be moved in giant, massive quantities at the moment. So they're much better. You can fill up 2 of our trucks, and you wouldn't even get close to filling up half of a tractor and trailer. I mean, it takes about 2.5 of our trucks to do 1 tractor load. And so we're sort of, I don't want to say we're at a disadvantage, but I think as things go through, close, like right now the hot spot's New York, and on the East Coast, New Jersey, New York. Eventually I think that's going to change. I mean, it could be California, Chicago, New Orleans, any of the big cities. I just think it's going to get, we'll be hauling probably freight into those places. No one knows.
Yeah, yeah. And it's hard because like some of the manufacturers are now manufacturing other things than what they normally manufacture. So they, those companies, and I'm just throwing this out here. This is not anything I've read or not anything I know. I'm just throwing it out there that some there may be people put back to work due to some things that were specialized in one area, but now they're going to change their manufacturing and what they manufacture.
We've heard stories of Ford and GM going to manufacture respirators. That would put people back to work, and of course you would need the raw materials transported for that and for the finished product. So
So what was automotive parts might be plastic parts now
right.
that they need to get in and out of those facilities.
No one knows.
Yeah, we don't know. And we don't know when it might pick up or if it will, Yeah.
So, hey, do me a favor if you're watching, just because there's 13 people watching, and I know there's been more than that probably tuned in, and so give us a little thumbs up. Go down there in the bottom, or get off your phone and leave and come back and give us a little thumbs up. And I just want to see, there's 2 right now, and so it seems to help the videos. I don't know, other people do it. Just
Jim's using other people's scripts for the whole, let's try this out.
Like and subscribe to our channel. Like our videos,
And we didn't mention we are very close to hitting 15,000 views on this channel,
which will probably happen. Oh, look, it went up. It'll probably go up. It will probably hit 15,000 total views for the life of our channel, which I think is a little over 7 months now. So we're sort of excited about that.
We're getting close to 150 uploaded videos.
Yeah, and we also, very, very thankfully, we hit 250 subscribers today.
Woohoo!
Of course, now that'll change after we get off here. 2 or 3 of them will leave, maybe more. And so it's really weird. We get, I think we've mentioned this before, we get what I like to call bot subscribers, where people will show up and it's just a computer program. I don't know what they go out and create fake accounts and they like your channel, and then 3 or 4 days later, Facebook or YouTube comes along and says, that's probably
They're not really a subscriber.
It's not good. So we'll just get rid of them. So it'll probably go back down.
Big cow.
So yeah, thank you to everybody. Oh, look, we got 10.
Woohoo!
Woo. Yeah, that's what we live for. I mean, that's it today. The little thumbs up things. So.
Oh, that would be awesome, Noah. Thank you.
Oh yeah, go and share it. Go share it with all your friends. Tell them to watch your video or our video, or you'll just be bored.
We're just giving people things to do. Is that it?
Yeah, I have, within the last day, we sort of have been cooped up in the truck for more than normal. And I actually talked with 2 of my best friends from high school that I've talked to on somewhat of a regular occasion, but I hadn't talked to either one of them in a while. And I was on the phone with, I know one today I was on the phone for over 2 hours, and I think last night
and
it was
Jim's not social.
About an hour. Yeah, well, these are my friends. I mean, these are the kids that I grew up with. I mean, we go...
Yeah, one's been forever.
Literally almost forever. I've known him since I'm 3 years old, and so, it's cool. But it was sort of interesting to talk to them and see how they're doing. One lives in Indianapolis, one lives in St. Paul, and
we have seen both of them when we've been out here on the road, which is awesome.
Yeah, one of the bonuses of being in this business, I've got to reconnect with folks. Yeah, now we can't drive right past their house and wave.
We did when all this started. We were actually spent the night over in Indianapolis, around there, and we couldn't touch base with them. So that's kind of a bummer.
So what do you got on our little list there, wife?
Well,
anything? Topics? We covered the milestones. We went for a walk.
Yeah, the walk here is
crickets.
I do not like being cooped up, and for whatever reason, and I think I've shared this before, I feel so cooped up in the truck just because of what's going on in the world. Now, generally, we hang out in the truck, we figure out what to do when we, over the weekends, we get bored, we do whatever. But for some reason, I feel like I can't do anything, and it's not really that much different, So we went out and we took a long walk. I think it was probably about 1.5 miles both ways, or each way.
Yep, each way.
So it's close to 3, but we went, and I didn't even realize there was some sort of water behind this truck stop. I didn't realize that was even back there. Yeah, back in the dirt parking lot that got back here. And there was a bunch of ducks back there.
Yep.
But we couldn't get close because no trespassing, barbed wire fences.
No trespassing.
Jim didn't want to cross the barbed wire fence. Has not that adventure.
I was afraid I would get caught. And I'd be stuck there on the fence with barbed wire sticking in some portion of my body that I don't need.
You'd have to go get a tetanus shot.
Well, in this day and time, yeah, and that's going to bring up a topic right there that we talked about earlier today. We're all subject to random drug tests, and we have not had one in a while. But we usually they end up sending us to a urgent care to do that, and I am not really too thrilled about going into an urgent care at the moment with a lot of sick people sitting around just to get a random drug test. I mean, fortunately, we haven't had one, but that could come at any point in time.
I don't know. Is anybody watching? Has anybody had drug tests since all this has been out here?
Have friends that have been called in for one, or yourselves? I mean, we haven't been in a while, but.
We're definitely knocking on wood, because there was a year where I had like 4 of them, and I was just within so much period of time, which is crazy. You'll have one tomorrow. I know. That's what I tell him all the time. Why do you even bring it up?
It's because we are so far out in the middle of nowhere.
There's probably an urgent care right down the road.
Probably so. Yeah, you learn after a while we're not the set. So And the bad thing about it is, I don't care about the drug tests. There's no way that Judy or I are ever going to have a positive drug test for anything. But
Now that you said that.
but it's just, we have to pay for those out of our pockets, $50. And Judy actually had enough in 1 year that they actually paid for two of
Yeah,
hers.
they actually paid for part of it. Yeah,
But it's just, it's you have to go, and it's on duty time. So if you're in the middle of your 34-hour reset, it's that's out the window. It's just a hassle. You'd think after a while, after 9 years, you would think that, oh, well, they probably don't do drugs. You'd be okay.
No, but you can always start.
Well, whatever.
And being cooped up can also, throw you out there. And now watch it, because that'll probably happen. We'll get a call tomorrow.
No. I'm pretty sure that the person in charge of the thing doesn't watch our videos. And it's random anyway.
It's Noah's friend, so he's probably going to wind up sharing it.
Yeah, probably so. Yeah. So I don't know.
Share it with the people who do our random drugs, thing. But.
We talked about freight a little bit, or lack of. I have no friends.
I have no friends.
Oh.
Only the high and important ones in the high places, right?
So since you are new to the straight truck stuff, how's stuff going, Noah? Are you guys seeing freight, staying busy? I know.
Are you out there hanging out with Melody?
I don't know where they're at. It's been a while, so. I got my random drug test at the terminal of my company, so it's safer for that. Yeah. No terminals for us. So it's just sort of a random but not random. I don't know how many couples we've known that have both been randomly selected for a drug test at the same time. So, yeah, I could not pee. Yeah, that would be a problem.
Oh,
Uncle Sam and his stuff. Okay. Yeah, embarrassing. Yeah.
Can't talk.
But it takes care of itself, I guess. We don't have to worry too much about it. It's just a hassle, pain in the butt. Not really too thrilled about having to go do them, but
and the other part of this is, and I don't know on the Weather Channel if anybody else has that as one of their apps, but we have it as an app, and you can also go down and say, oh, is today good for running, and how are your allergies, and how's flu season? Well, the flu season right now is 100%, and that is not counting the COVID-19 virus. That's H1N1. That's 100% chance, out there you can get that.
Yeah, that happens. Yeah, being selected at the same time. You would think that they wouldn't want to expose us to that, especially truck drivers that are out here. We're essential employees, so to speak. And you would think they would try to keep us safe, and they would just pitch that out the window. Why is that happening?
Because you're not plugged in.
I'm not plugged in? I guess I'm not.
Hold on just a minute. Jim forgot to plug in the computer. We gotta keep talking.
So,
yeah, I know. I don't know why, but I understand, because actually with some downtime, there might be more, temptation to do things out here that you shouldn't do, but at the same time,
whatever.
Maybe finding a place that does it. But yeah, the flu season right now it's crazy too, and that's, I guess, with this whole virus thing is what they're talking about is there's so much other stuff out here at this time of the year other than that particular virus.
Right. Yeah, the regular flu is here. We had a friend of ours that was hospitalized with what she thought was potentially this virus, and it turned out that it was H1N1, the swine flu. And so she's been in and out of the hospital for a little bit. So it's crazy. Don't forget about the regular flu. Not that we have nothing else to worry about. Then I've seen that loads go quick. Yeah, I would imagine.
Yeah, some of them just go there and turn around and go back out, and I don't know how they do that.
No, yeah. So we stopped going to California, Melody.
Well, she knows that because we never see her anymore. That's the only place we ever got to see her.
Not to change the subject. Please go right ahead, because we're stumbling.
Well, what kind of headset?
Do you prefer?
This is mine.
Yeah.
Jim and I actually use different ones.
She had, what is yours now?
Mine is a Blue Parrot.
Hers is a Blue Parrot. It's the
I have no idea which one.
BXT 450. It's not the latest and greatest one, but she's had it for probably 2 years now.
Almost 2 years.
I have a Blue Tiger Elite, which is actually blue, which is pretty cool. Sometimes, they have other things, but as you can
they
see,
have black ones.
Mine's getting a little ragged around the edges there. I've had it for a while. The little fuzzy thing came off the end. But it's comfortable.
He doesn't know how to put it. He doesn't know how to put it back on.
I was sitting here in the truck today talking to my
let's demonstrate.
My friends on the phone, and I've gotten to where I don't like to talk on the phone without the headset. It's you don't have to worry about your phone. Just lay it down somewhere and walk around the truck or whatever you're doing, or in the car. So, but yeah, we just pick these up at the truck stops. A lot of times you can get enough points. It's just whatever you prefer.
I have friends who have, like the neck ones where they wear those around theirs and they like them, or with the earbuds. I am not an earbud person because it
hurts my ears.
Well, and it hurt. I don't know if it hurts mine, but it falls out of mine. I can never find an earbud that actually will fit in my ear and stay in my ear.
Right.
It just pops out all the time.
Now, they only last us, I don't know whether we're just rough on ours or what, but they last about 1.5 years, and then something happens. They either stop charging, or they stop working, or you can't turn them on, or something. I think we've actually probably had these two for as long as we've had any of them, so maybe they're making them better. I don't know.
Well, the Blue Tiger, don't they have a lifetime?
Yeah, they do.
But you have to pay something insurance.
But you have to pay.
I
don't know. It's a pain in the butt. I don't want to. It's like you can send it in to them, but I need one. So what do? Keep two in the truck? I guess they're not cheap.
Yeah.
I mean, these are over $100 headsets, both of them, and to me, that's grossly overpriced. I mean, they're so simple. I mean, they should cost $15.
Yeah, anyone, Melody and Noah, you guys chime in. I don't know what you guys use, but I think it just is all about preference. I mean, these have great sound quality.
Both of them do.
And they we don't, unless we're in a bad area, have any problems with anybody hearing us or listening to us. So
yeah, we can we can charge them up on the weekend, and we can go a couple of days of talking. Judy talks quite a bit on the phone. And listens to music. I do the same thing, and I mean they last pretty good. You can't use them plugged in. Mine will not charge if it's on.
Mine does.
Judy's will, but and they only take maybe a couple hours to charge. So whoever's not driving, we just usually plug it in and away we go.
All right, no, I have to say this. I'm a little elderly and my eyes are not as good. When I first read your comment, I thought it said I use a Sorry pair.
Sorry pair.
And I was just,
didn't see that.
It's a Sony pair.
Sony pair.
But I was just like, oh.
Yeah.
You have a Sorry pair of headsets.
We've had those. When we first started, we got one of the Plantonics. That the little ones that fit in your ear and sort of stick out like right here, and we used those for a while. But the little rubber pieces that fit in your ear, they would break. They would wear out, and we never could find the replacements. I've seen them since, but I just didn't really care for it.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah, they went over your ear, and after a while, your ear would get sore. At least mine would. And
well, mine with sunglasses too. That's the other part you don't even think about.
Her ears are too big. Her ears are tiny. She has like tiny ears. It's I don't know. But
tell him I'm not Dumbo. I don't know where he's getting that
at. And we've tried different kinds. We had the older version of the Blue Parrot.
Yeah.
There was like a one. I don't know. It was an earlier version of this. It had a much smaller earpiece. As you can see, the difference. My earpiece is round and it's padded. It's a nice earpiece. Judy's is slightly. No, yours is padded.
Well, it's padded. It's just not round.
Padded as much. And so, like I said, this is not the latest and greatest of one, but I think the Blue Tiger, they still make this Elite. Same one. They've maybe changed the guts to it. I don't know. I like hers. It fits on your head, The only thing I don't like about hers is this thing.
See, and I like that better than your other.
This is
the other
not
one.
padded as much as this one is, and this is what fits on the other side of your head. So I don't know. I mean, I can wear them for 2 or 3 hours at a time, and they really don't cause any problems. But
and the other part with your headsets too, you have to. With me, sometimes if I wear my sunglasses, mine, and I don't know how Jim does it, but it bothers my sides of my head.
right. So, but we definitely need them. I mean,
how nice their headsets are. You're right, Noah. We judge each other on how cool our headsets are.
Right. And when we first started, it wasn't, you look like Spaceman, wearing this on your head. You're just like, oh, I don't want people to see me. I look so weird. Now it's just like, I don't care.
What are you kidding? You never did care.
Well, that's basically true. I really didn't care. But anyway.
Yeah, I know. Now I laugh because, professional people wear headsets too, and they've been wearing them for a long time. But I remember before we started driving, when they started using them, and you would walk like into Walmart, and somebody was sitting there talking, and you turn around and like, are you talking to me? And no, they're talking to whatever their head.
They're the ones that got like the little earpieces,
yeah,
the little
you can't see.
Yeah, and then you're just wondering what the heck is that person's doing. So yeah, so.
Well, thanks for bringing that topic up,
yeah.
Jim. That was a cool topic. I haven't even thought about that one.
So you wanted to talk. We spent a interesting evening last night here in the truck. Judy actually got on the phone with our daughters, and she was on a Zoom call.
Yes.
We have a daughter that lives up on Put-in-Bay, and then we have one that lives in our house. And you talked to them for like 2 hours last night. When I was on my friend from high school, you were talking to them, and so that's pretty cool. And now we're seeing a lot of people are using Zoom. Video. It's a video chat web seminar
you can get as
software.
many people. Yeah, business people, really used it a lot. And now I think people are using it for just fun. I think people used it before, but now
Right.
you can't really communicate with each other.
But you can see
you can't have these
everybody.
groups of people
You
together.
can have like this. We actually talked about at some point in time. Maybe we'll do a Zoom with our channel to where people could actually talk to us, and we could actually talk to different, a small group of people, probably. Yeah, small group, 12 people watching now. We could do that, and so we talked about that. We'll see if that, goes along. But it's nice to be able to talk to people face to face.
Yeah, that you can see, and
yeah.
it's like FaceTime or video chat, but then you have a whole group. Now the cool thing about it was our grandson was on it too, because my daughter was there, and she was trying to get him to go to bed, which was all kind of funny for all of us to sit and watch.
Yeah.
But he noticed right away. He's 3, and you have everybody's up on the screen, and whoever talks, there's a little square around them, and it just happened to be green, and he goes, "Look, Mommy, green!" So whoever was talking had a green square around him, and then we had to explain to him what the green square meant.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, but he picked that up pretty quick.
yeah, but it was lots of fun. I don't know, does anyone else use Zoom by any chance? I mean, if you don't, it's a really kind of a cool thing to get family members together. I mean, for truck drivers, other than the fact that we're going through this isolation period, but
Right.
the truck drivers are isolated anyway, but if you want to get together with
So
family or friends.
what's the
at a
thing
bigger
that's
group.
on your iPhones? What is that?
FaceTime.
FaceTime.
Yeah.
But the reason they don't do FaceTime is because my daughter that lives at home has an Android phone like
We
I
are
do.
a divided family.
Yes, we are. 3 of us have good phones, and 2 of us have iPhones.
Yeah, the iPhones are the best.
So we use Zoom. It works across tablets, laptops, everything.
Yeah.
Works really well.
Phones, you can use
Phones, definitely.
it. Yeah.
So we're trying to do that a little bit more. We're not planning on going home. In fact, we're almost afraid to go home to fear that since we're out here that we may become contaminated with just our exposure is greater than our folks back home, and so we're trying to stay away from the house. And I hate that. We go home, there's nothing to do.
And we are from a very small community,
Mhm.
and they were actually, did we talk about this already last time? I don't remember, but I was talking to a friend of mine who works in the medical field, and she was talking about how, since we're from a smaller community and our hospitals at this point in time are not very busy,
Yeah.
they're being asked or told, I guess pretty much so, that they're going to be deployed to other hospitals and other medical facilities who actually need the personnel. Um, so we're just trying to see what happens, because they're going to have to get ahead of all that with supplies and that. Oh, night, Greta. Take yourself to bed, and I hope I hope you're feeling good.
Go to bed, by all means. So, oh, what else, my dear? We always have a list of stuff to talk about.
Just because I don't like dead airspace.
It just slows down. I feel like we're talking to ourselves.
It's like a radio. Well, the dead air. You can't have dead air.
Yeah. So what's next? You're gonna go yoga class. You did a yoga date on your Zoom this morning. That was so funny.
My daughter last night, I was talking about doing yoga, and I do yoga with Adrian. And if anybody are YouTube people who follow YouTube, she is a yoga person that's been on here for 6 or 7 years, and it's very beginning yoga. It's not anything horribly hard. I mean, she does have hard things on there, but you don't have to do them. She gives you different things. Anyway, my oldest daughter, actually, her friend was the one who introduced me to doing yoga. And I used to do yoga on PBS back when we were home, when we were at school.
Oh, yeah.
I would get up before the kids, and I would do yoga. And the PBS channel, and I can't remember the girl's name, but it was like 5:30 or 6 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
I would get up and do her, but when we have Farmer Vision at our house. We didn't have satellite, so we had Farmer Vision. So I would do that. So when we got out here on the road, I would kind of do some stretches and things like that out here. But anyway, long story, even longer.
Very long.
My daughter, I told her I was going to do some yoga today, and she says, well, when are you going to do it? And I said, I don't know, I've got all day. It's not like I have
not
to
like
pick
we
a
have
time.
a load to do.
So she said, well, how about 11? Because at that point in time, I think it was 11 o'clock or almost midnight last night when we were still talking. So we actually did yoga with Adrian together, and I did it in the box, and she did it on her TV, so we were able to do it. And Melody, I totally agree. I think I've already, just in this isolation time, just in, what are we up to, 2.5 weeks or whatever?
Creeping right up on that number.
Yep,
it's
that's
right there.
That's right where I'm at.
Right in the sights. So
that, and my hair is going to be completely gray by the end of all this. Yeah. So, not that I'm that picky, but I am.
I don't know. Yeah, it's definitely. It seems like we're either going to be 100 pounds heavier or 50 pounds lighter. I don't know which.
Yeah, so. Because there are people who deal with this in different ways. But I get bored, and what do I do when I get bored? Eat. Yeah. And get junk that I don't need. I told Jim, I said, if we wouldn't eat all the time, the stuff we have in the truck should last us a month or two at least.
Yeah, I just eat.
So what are those fun things to eat?
Oh yeah, let's encourage the behavior.
Encourage everybody. Let's see, what is there good to eat?
Well, I can tell you right now that whipped cream and chocolate chips and Reese's Pieces is not really a health food.
Yeah. So. Popeyes red beans and rice. Oh yeah. Jim can't have Popeyes. I can, but he can't. And that's what. Oh. Kira last night, because she's up on Put-in Bay, she said she was going to have a Popeyes pizza, and I was like, well, she has celiac and she can't have the breading, and I'm sitting there going, and for one, we don't have Popeyes in Ohio. I mean, we do now, but we used not to. And up there on the lake, I know they don't have Popeyes, and I was just like, well, how are they doing that? How are you doing the chicken? And so she had to inform me that it was chicken and spinach, and that's why it was called Popeyes Pizza.
Right. So, spinach.
Spinach, the old Popeyes thing, which, I didn't know her generation knew what Popeyes was, or who he was, is.
You better talk about hope, because we need hope. We already talked about shopping.
We talked about shopping. We did. Yep. I just had on here as a topic of hope, because it just seems like everything we read and everything we talk, we see on Facebook and we see on, that it just seems like everybody's just so
hopeless.
Yeah, and seeing the faces out.
Down, depressed.
You want to keep going? We're supposed to be upbeat. Remember? That's what we're here to do.
You have on more than one occasion accused me of being Eeyore.
Eeyore. Yeah.
So...
Jim is Eeyore. One day at a time. That's right, Kim. One day at a time. 1 minute at a time. 1 second at a time. Living in the present moment. And hope for the future.
Right. So what hope do we have, wife? I'm asking you. It's your topic.
It's my topic.
It's your topic. Hope.
Hope and faith, and that we'll be taken care of, and that we just have to trust that things will work out. And I always say God put us all here together to rely on each other and to help each other, and this is a perfect time to be doing all that.
Yeah, I guess so. So good. So
oh no, I was asking about the load board changes.
Well, I have no idea what they've got in mind, what they've got in store for us. I know if it was me, what I would probably want to see, but so that obviously won't happen.
That's never going to happen.
I would like to go to some type of system that took into account, your time between loads, like it does now, and a system that took into account, how close you are away from the pickup. It's nothing with this whole load board is more frustrating to be delivering to a receiver and there are a load that pop out on the load board that picks up like 2 hours later, and it's picking up at the same place, and it's a decent paying load, and you not getting the load, and finding out later that someone is deadheaded 500 miles away to come in and pick up the load because they had more dwell time. So I hope that at some point in time they figure out some system to take into account those things. I don't know what they're going to come up with.
Do you remember when? Let's go. Do you remember when?
Okay.
Do you remember when we were all sitting out in California before load board?
Yeah.
And how we even talked about, and Melody, you'll remember this, how much closer we were to the shipper, because there was a big shipper out there that was like, okay, if you park in the back, you will technically be closer, so you're more than likely going to be guaranteed that, you might get the load over someone else.
Yeah. Because
you were closer, like by a fraction of a yard or two. And how many times in different times we would call dispatches that why did they get the load and we didn't get the load, and
it's a mystery.
There was so many factors, and there's sometimes you just don't know. And with this new system, and back then the dispatchers really didn't know either, because there were so many things layered and variables within the system they were using before the load board.
The one thing that I'm not looking forward to with the new system whenever it shows up is there is at this point in time some degree of transparency, because we know supposedly what is in the system. It goes on minutes, time between load. I think we all realize how that's calculated now. And you can call in, and if you talk to the right person, they can tell you exactly how many minutes you have, how many minutes the person ahead of you had, what position you are in line. If they go to some system that has multiple inputs, as far as time between loads and distance, and from what I'm seeing, performance,
how many loads you're doing,
criteria, that kind of stuff. Who's to say? Here, I'll be conspiracy theory trucker for a bit. Who's to say, oh, you drive for such and such, you get 10 extra bonus points. And, it's back to sort of, you just got to rely on what they tell you. Are some trucks going to run more than other trucks? Probably. That happens now.
Yeah. Well, and there was glitches in
no rhyme or reason.
There were glitches in the old system where I remember trucks if you were sitting in California, we did a lot of running back and forth to California before the load board, and you'd be sitting in California. If you sat a day, you were kind of worried because the trucks coming in would actually get loads ahead of you. There
Now,
was
FedEx,
a glitch in the system.
FedEx will tell you that never happened.
Yeah, no, they did because they said they couldn't fix the glitch.
But we've seen that happen where it used to be trucks coming into California would get loads ahead of the trucks that had been there for a couple of days. No rhyme or reason. They couldn't tell you. They didn't know what happened. It had too many inputs. Yeah.
Go sit at Sam's. Yep. There at the Walmart that didn't have. Then they got started the construction and they had all those crates out there. Or
but
that,
and I don't know if that helped. I don't know.
Out there by In-N-Out.
I don't know what they're going to do. The only thing that I hope, and I really not holding out any hope that this will actually happen, but what I really hope is they publish the criteria and let us know exactly what that is, so we have an idea of what you're supposed to do and what they're wanting. I mean, just don't lead us in the, is it going to be a system that takes effect 20 different little pieces of data?
Okay, now all these people who drive for the same carrier are as us, who've been here for a while, are just kind of smirking, and I can just see them going.
Well, I know they're not going to tell us. I mean,
how many changes have we been through in the past 8.5, 9 years that we didn't find out until? Well, you have this thing that you always say, and it may be in every business, but every quarter.
Yeah, they change something.
Jim says they change something every quarter. We may not notice it, but there's something that changes. And it could be just the customers or the freight have changed, but something changes every quarter that makes you have to rethink what you're doing and figure out, okay, what have they changed? What's different? And it could have been just they changed something within their system as far as how the freight goes out and things like that. But I can't remember all the changes right now, but it seemed like every quarter something changes.
There's been something, and so I can't say I'm really looking forward to whatever change they're going to come up with. I know in most instances the changes don't really help us. So I'm not for sure what's going to happen. Whether it'll be something simple, or something so complex and non-transparent
that we'll
have no idea. Is it a guy randomly throwing darts at a dartboard saying, "Oh, they get that load," which sometimes I feel that's what they do.
Hey, they're all working from home right now. That could very well be.
It could be. Oh, let's see who gets the load today. First of all,
just kidding out there, by the way.
I really wish, and this is being hypercritical, and I don't really like to do that. They need to get their system fixed before they put anything else new in there. And their system is far from being fixed, and it's really frustrating at times to have to deal with this, that we've been dealing with it now for almost a year, and it just really, I don't know, it's frustrating. They need to get their stuff together. And then they need to get, but anyway, I digress.
Yes, you really digress.
I digress. Remember the good old days when Brittany would call up and say, "Hey, I got a TV." Yep, sure do.
Yes. Or I have a load for you, and or one of our other favorite dispatchers, who and I think that was Joy, who would call up and say, "I've got this really crappy load for you."
Yep.
And I know it's crappy.
Yep.
But I've got another one for you.
That's back when they actually had people up there that would actually dispatch loads.
Yeah.
And so.
And Mary's not there anymore either. She retired, didn't she?
No, Mary didn't.
No, Mary didn't retire.
No, she's still there. Who was it?
I lied. Don't take that as truth. That was not.
And
true.
for all of you folks that are, I know a couple of you are looking to get started and looking down the road to start. I mean, it's just, I'm not being overly critical, and I still think FedEx is probably the best carrier out here, but they're not without their warts. And
any business, any carrier has its issues.
They are horrible at communicating things that we need to know. That's my one pet peeve with them. It's just like they'll change something that affects us, and we won't know about it. And we'll call in, and we'll find out, inadvertently about, oh yeah, that changed. When? Like 2 months ago. What? And so it's just frustrating.
I agree, Melody.
Positive thoughts, Jim. I know.
I have to live with this.
I know, Melody. It's frustrating after a while. And like I said, generally, 95% of the time, your interactions with FedEx are awesome, and everything goes as planned, and there's some really good people up there. But come on, they've had more than enough time to fix the
Well,
system.
now they are
So,
also going through some changes, management and stuff like that right
yeah,
now too. So it is, and with the dispatchers and the agents that we deal with on a regular basis, they're all going through all
right.
the changes too,
I
and
never
it's
realized that.
and so it's hard for all of us to stop griping at each other,
Well, and
griping with each other.
this what's going on now with what's going on in the world don't help either. So I don't know how it's going to work out. So,
Yeah.
but
See, serious look, and I have to smile because if I don't, I start crying.
ladies and gentlemen, Pollyanna, right here.
Is that who I am? Pollyanna?
Yes, you are very Pollyanna-ish.
Pollyanna-ish. So you're Eeyore and I'm Pollyanna.
Exactly. That's probably pretty much very descriptive of our respective personalities and outlooks on life. Yes.
We need somebody in between.
That's crazy.
Oh.
We watched the movie today. Here's a positive thought for you. I watched about 3/4 of the movie. Judy watched all of it.
I started watching it.
And it was really cool. I never even heard of it. But apparently it was a fairly recent movie, 2016, and it's called Greater.
It was on Netflix, for those of you who have Netflix.
And it is the story of a football player who was a walk-on, outstanding high school player, went on to be a walk-on, 3-year starter for the University of Arkansas, and played for them and did very, very well, and got drafted to go to the NFL, and unfortunately was involved in a fatal accident. And that just whatever. Hey, I don't care. It's a true story, so if you want to watch it, I've ruined it for you now. But I mean,
That's all right.
that
Actually,
comes in really
yeah,
at the very beginning. It's not a
beginning of
surprise.
it. Yeah, it's not a surprise, but it is a very inspirational show.
Even though with that tragedy, and it's a true story.
It's a 2 hours too. Kills 2 hours.
But it's very inspirational. It was good. So sad as the story itself was.
It was, and I told Jim, I said, I need those reminders sometimes when we're dealing with all that we're dealing with the FedEx changes, with what's going on in the world, to watch a show that shows someone who's worked their tail off and maybe didn't have a ton of talent to begin with, but because of the hard work and inspiration that he had from
multiple
his faith and his it was just so cool to see. And he became a leader. He became, he was at first made fun of and told he wasn't going to amount to much, and you're just sitting on the couch kind of thing, to all the things that he went forward to do.
And it was a football movie, so we actually got to see football,
which you can't watch now. Well,
watch
it's
anything.
not the season for football anyway.
No, but it's never that far out of our
March
lives.
Madness is a little saddening, but
it's over with. It's done. Everything is off TV. So, but yeah, it was a good movie called Greater.
Yeah, it's called Greater, and it is on Netflix. I'm not sure where else it was. I don't even know who produced the movie. I don't remember.
Probably the producers. So anyway,
don't use that. By the
what?
way. For your thumbnails, you always get these pictures.
Yeah, you're okay. So is
Yeah,
everybody still awake? I'm just curious. We have 9 people watching. So it says. I think it lies. And I think we're basically talking to ourselves, right? If you have any truck questions or
does
trucking,
anybody have any movies that they like
uh,
or shows that they watch?
Kim is the only one awake. Thank you so much.
Melody told you to have positive thoughts.
And then she went right back to sleep.
Oh, I need to start a new series because I've been watching NCIS,
Yeah.
and I'm like the season 10.
That's what
so
we're going to
it's
do
be
when
a
we get
good
off
one.
here. We're going to watch NCIS.
Better Call Saul. Is that a movie?
I've heard of that.
See, Jim would know. I have no idea.
I don't remember. It's Breaking Bad.
Breaking Bad. Now I have heard of that one.
Yeah. Yeah, my friend had a couple last night that he would like, but you wouldn't care for them. They're science fiction. So
Well, I'm okay with science fiction. Just depends. Let's speak a Netflix show. Breaking Bad or the other Better Call Saul?
Breaking yeah
It's not Sal.
Breaking Bad was, I think, HBO. It was. I don't know if it's on.
Yeah,
Netflix
I think
or
it is
not.
on Netflix
It
too.
might be.
I could be wrong.
You could be. You have been there before.
Yeah, I also threw on here, the trucking couple and the crafty trucker, and there was somebody else with them.
Longshore.
Longshire.
Longshires.
Yeah, they're
It's
all
really-
out camping.
Yeah,
You
they
know,
did a
we
live
weren't
today.
invited. What?
They did a live broadcast today earlier, and they were all at a campground in Illinois someplace. So we were not invited. Not that we would have went,
Yeah.
because we are following our social distancing guidelines. I guess we could have went and waved out the window at them.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Melody. Well, I
Go
hope you
watch
guys
Cops.
get out of there soon, and
So-
I'm hoping your Cops is like
Yeah.
on TV and not like out your front window.
Yeah, because there can be cops there too, where you guys are parked. I'm assuming you're up front at the wherever you're at. We missed those days being out there. We had a lot of fun. So hopefully, maybe someday we'll go back out there and can get out of our trucks.
Yeah,
and
well, and
be
they can at least
isolated.
get out of their trucks and get their lawn chairs out, and
Stay
they could still
six-
stay their distance
yeah.
if they need to, but they can, they can sit out and get on their chairs.
Yeah. So say hi, good night. Tell Larry we said hi. So anyway, wife, I think we've exhausted all of our topics for the evening. If anybody has any questions or questions
tomorrow
for
we're
us,
going to do a little bit of our, we're going to do a business video
business
tomorrow.
one, just a regular video.
Just to kind of a recap of our month.
We are going to do a numbers video with our March, and as far as revenue and what we spent maintenance wise and some other things, and because we feel that's probably going to be the very last
Jim,
normal
again,
month,
the pessimist here, is going to say it's going to be the last normal month.
the last normal month that we're going to see for a while. So I don't know. Either we are going to just be running one load a week and be extremely, extremely slow, or they're going to run the wheels off our truck. And I don't think there's anything in between. Hopefully for the latter,
We'll see.
thinking for the former. So I
Yeah.
am a pessimist. So.
Noah was asking about our straps and our blankets on our truck.
We have two of the big plastic totes that you see a lot of times, like at Lowe's. They're black plastic with a yellow top. They're very common. You see them Home Depot, Lowe's, every place. We have two of those in the back of our truck. The pads we have are actually like a half pad. They're only like half the size of a normal pad.
I think
and they're
that's what comes in
very
most of the trucks
thin.
anymore.
Usually what, yeah. And so we have those folded and in one of the crates, and then we have a few in the second crate, and then we have all of our straps. Strap folds up to about that big when it's wrapped, and so we just throw those in on top. And I don't know, we've probably got 24 straps, and but we only use like 4 or 5 of them. I gotta dig if I need more than that, because we just sort of keep those on top. We just keep those laying in the top of that tote. We have the lid on it up in the very front of our truck. So
Yeah, the bars.
yeah.
Kim's asking at what point should we do an accountant. We did almost when we first started because we had lots of
We had
questions.
some weird issues. I would go see an accountant now
Yeah.
before you start.
Because you can do things like estimated taxes and things like that
Yeah.
you might, they're going to need to know about how much you make, and they're going to need you to be in the job for them to help figure that out. But at least you can get some questions going, like self-employment taxes and that type of stuff. They can kind of give you an estimate of what that might be.
Yeah, you're probably more than likely, if you start, almost everybody I know that does this is on a 1099, which means you're an independent contractor, which means taxes are not taken out of your check. So you have to account for those at the end of the year. And I would talk to one now. Save you some headaches down the road. Ever how they set that up. There are some, we're from Ohio. There's some business structures that you can set up within the states that allow you to be. We are technically employees of ourselves. We own the company. The company is set up as an LLC that is taxed as an S corporation. Everything eventually flows through, and we pay taxes off our 1040 forms. But it's a favorable tax situation for self-employment tax, and it saves us about $5,000 a year. Not that your situation would be the same, but definitely talk to an accountant about that kind of stuff. So something that we would never ever have dreamed of, because taxes are not something we do.
Yeah.
Every year I go in, we've known our accountant for many years. Our daughters used to play volleyball
We
together.
didn't use him as an accountant until we came out and started driving.
But well, we never needed to.
Yeah,
Ours were simple.
ours was simple.
Owning a truck, and we're owners. I mean, so we have like a slew of deductions and depreciation and stuff that makes my eyes water. And so we go and talk to him. We'll go and talk to him for a couple hours, and once a year, and sit down and talk for a while, and he starts sticking numbers in, and he gives me a number at the end, and so I don't have to worry about it. So.
And our accountant had a good idea about the trucking business. That's another thing.
He has a lot of clients. Find somebody that knows what they're doing.
Yeah, and there are people out here who do trucking exclusively. He does not. I mean, he has all kinds of clients, but he does have a lot of trucking people, as far as individual truck owners and truck drivers who drive for companies, and so he has a lot of different ones.
Don't walk into Walmart and talk to the people at the H&R Block booth for your taxes.
Why not?
No idea. Trucking is a very the accounting portion for trucking can be very complicated, and there's a lot of rules that people don't even think about. And especially with owning, if you own a truck, it's a whole different story. Truthfully,
and then you throw the small business part of it in there, and all those kind of tax things.
As a driver, you're very, very limited on what you can deduct legally. And I say that because I know there are folks, and there's probably folks watching, that take stuff off as a deduction that they really are not entitled to. Our accountant watches us like a hawk and will not let us take off anything that he thinks would in any way, shape, or form even think about having to trigger an audit. And so
that's what he said his job is.
That's his job.
Is to keep us from getting audited.
We might pay more in taxes sometimes, more than someone else would. But we don't have to worry about it if worse comes to worse.
I was told Jim it's better to come up with it now than to come up with it in a huge lump sum later when we have deducted something we shouldn't have been deducting.
Right, we don't want to do that for sure. So that's what we do, and we started pretty much from the beginning. We had a couple of situations that were unique to us when we first started, and talk to somebody now.
They'll be driving for a fleet owner.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, you're very limited as a driver on deductions. I mean, you can take your per diem, which is a sort of a flat rate for...
And that just changed this year for company drivers.
Yeah,
really, so.
But you can take that, and you can deduct, the cost of like your clothing and your equipment that you need, any type of training. But past that, it becomes very, very limited. You're not going to be buying a truck.
And if you're the one buying the fuel, you'll be able to do that.
Yeah,
but if you're
depending on the fleet owner,
depending on what fleet owner you go with.
Like when we drove, we were on a 40-60 plan where we only got 40% of the revenue, and the owner paid for the fuel. So we had no deductions as far as tax, or fuel, and so it was relatively simple compared to what we have now. Where there's all this kinds of
what does
rules and everything.
Our accountant he usually tells us like 15 to 20% taxes.
Save back 15 to 20% of.
In case you can't get a hold of somebody
revenue
right away, just keep in mind, keep at least that much set aside for taxes.
Yeah, and do not forget that you are going to pay taxes. And we have seen many people over the years. That's usually what comes back and bites people in the butt, is they have this money coming in. It's generally a lot more than they are used to, or maybe have seen in prior jobs, and they don't realize that, hey, no one's taken out money for self-employment taxes which you're going to be responsible for the full 15%.
Yeah.
Instead of the 7.5.
Instead of your employer paying part and you paying part.
Yeah, so that's an extra 7.5% right there. Not to mention your state taxes and your local taxes, school district taxes. In Ohio, we have a local school district tax. So yeah, that adds up, and a lot of people get in the trouble of, hey, I got this money. Look at this. We'll go. Oh, let's go buy a motorcycle, or let's go buy this, and then when the tax man shows up on April 15th or whenever, you're like, well, crap.
Yeah, or whenever now.
I shouldn't have done that. Now I don't have no money to pay the tax man, and he wants his money. And
Speaking of which, everybody knows that the tax has been extended.
Yes.
Or your tax deadline has been
that would be
extended.
very good. Just put it in the bank, forget it's there, and when it comes time in the end of the year, after your
you
first
don't owe
year,
that much, then you can take it and do whatever you want.
You can figure out what you do.
Invest it.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Invest it. I wouldn't go that far. No. So I don't know.
Oh yeah, that's probably a bad topic right now. Anyway,
yeah.
Investing.
Yeah. So I mean, that's I think 20% would get you anywhere in the ballpark. We try not to get money back or try to owe the government. We like to break even. Because if I get money back, that's a tax-free loan I've made to the government. If I owe them at the end of the year, that just stinks.
Yes.
Because the amount of money we have to pay them anyway. So yeah, that's our philosophy. If I break even, I don't have to worry about them too much. Good.
Yeah.
So we actually, the way we do ours is we actually have tax. We are, like I said, we are employees of ourselves, so we actually get a paycheck each week, and we have regular payroll taxes deducted out of that. That gets taken out of our bank account once a month, and we file taxes quarterly, and then eventually our business files a yearly return, and then all of our tax and everything flows through onto our 1040 form that he fills out, and then we pay the tax. The business doesn't pay any tax. So that's just the way ours is set up.
Yep. Thanks for the question, Kim.
Yeah.
That's Jim's answer to it.
Short answer.
That was very short.
I could have got more in depth.
You could have. Yeah.
So anyway.
Anyway, that's. Anybody else have anything? I was just gonna share with. This just popped into my head. I don't know why taxes brought this up in my head, but I thought, we're talking about protection out here for the virus and things like that.
Right.
Our best protection, truth be told, is to build up our own immunity, our own immune system, which, by the way, is not sitting here eating chocolate chips and whipped cream.
No.
Those are not good immune kind of building up foods.
Those are not good habits.
So if you kind of think about eating when you're bored, but eating what will help your immunity, try eating those kind of things and drinking lots of water. Lots of water. And you all know that I drink lots of water. But so I don't know why the tax thing I was thinking about. I guess I was thinking it's getting to be over an hour, so I might as well throw another thought out there.
Sure, why not?
Yeah, I was getting a little anyway.
So, are we?
So are we done saying so?
I think we're done saying so. I think we've said enough tonight. So.
Speaking of which, if you need any of those masks that now we're being told if you're out in public to wear those masks.
Right. That's changed. We don't have any masks.
Yeah, we don't, but...
Actually, that's not true. I think
we do have one somewhere. Where did we have those?
Actually, I think it's at the house.
Oh,
I took that
out. We were drywalling or something. I don't know.
I took those out of the truck.
No, what were we doing in here we had masks for?
I don't remember. They were in a bucket and with a bunch of cleaning supplies, and I took that out of the truck back in the summer.
TAs or Petros, right here. Or if you happen to get by Joplin, Missouri, and go to the...
It's ginormous.
Yeah, whatever, Petra there.
Yeah, so...
It holds 100 ounces. And now I have to go in and use a cup.
Yes.
So, because I can't take these into the truck stops right now. I mean, before they didn't have a problem with it, but right now they don't want you to. And I think it takes a couple of the big cups, but I usually have to get another cup so I can fill it up all the way. But this truck stop, for some reason, they only have the large cups and not the extra large cups. So it took 3 today to fill it up.
Yeah, well, you don't really understand what drinking water is.
Well, he might. There are people out there that might drink as much as I do. You don't know.
Like, yeah, maybe. I suppose it's physically possible.
It is possible. It is.
This
possible.
thing holds 100 ounces. She will drink 2.5 of these in a day's time. 250 ounces of liquid. I honestly have no idea how she does it. How she's not in a hospital, but her system just passes it right on through.
Yep.
And it's just incredible the amount of water she drinks. I physically cannot drink one of those.
You don't drink any water. What are you talking about?
I can't. It hurts me. I would be in pain if I had to drink that much water. I don't know how you do it. You're like a sieve.
Well, I used to swim, but I didn't really drink water when I swam, so I don't know.
You're a fish, so all right. So,
yeah, I think it's time we get off. And,
yeah.
Bid everyone good night and safe travels this week, and we'll put out our business vlog tomorrow.
Yep, business vlog tomorrow. We may or may not do a live next weekend. Depends on where we're setting at.
Yep, we'll let you know.
And
on
we'll
Friday
figure that
night,
out.
usually we'll let you know
So
if we
we're
can do that
gonna
or not.
Get up in the morning, watch our church service on TV, and do our other stuff, do a little cooking, hang out here. Hopefully we'll get a load. And so we'll do our Monday night vlog, and we'll see everybody that's left, all 6 of you. But thank you for sticking around.
Yes, we enjoy talking to everybody.
Yeah, and I guess we'll catch you all in the next video.
Yep. So long, everybody. Have a good night.
Good night.